Hello Toros, and welcome to your very first boot camp. So today we're going to be learning about pencils. All right, so there's two different types of pencils. There's that kind of pencil, which I like to call the OG wood pencil, and then there's this kind of pencil, which I like to call the clicky pencil. All right, clicky pencils are great for some things, but if you're out of lead, not so much. And it's also kind of nice for some kinds of drawing, but for most of the time we're going to be using the OG wood pencil. Okay, so we're first going to get started by writing our name on our paper. All right, so make sure that your name is on your paper along with your block period, okay, the period that you have art. So that would be first period, second period, third period. I teach all of them, so it's just going to be just like that, okay? All right. The first thing I want you to remember is draw light till you get it right. That's because if you draw dark like this, that's hard to erase. And no matter how much you erase, it's still going to be there. But if you draw lightly, it's easy to erase, and it goes away completely. We don't have a lot of paper to use in this class, so you're gonna have to use the same paper even if you make a mistake. So you have to make sure that you draw lightly while you're getting your drawing the way that you want it to be, so that you can have enough paper to get through the day. Okay, another thing that I wanted to talk about is pencil safety. So make sure that when you're using pencils, that you're using them in a safe way. Do not run with pencils. Don't put pencils in your pockets, because sometimes if you put a pencil in your pocket and you bend over, you can stab yourself. Don't laugh. That's actually happened in one of my classes before. Yeah, it was not good. Okay, also do not over sharpen the pencil, and do not tear the pencils up. So please do not put the pencils in your mouth and chew on them. Don't break them. Don't throw the pencils. Just treat the pencils with respect, because we want to make sure that we have lots of pencils in the classroom for as long as we can. All right, the first skill that we're going to learn is shading. All right, so we're going to start out with our pencil. I'm actually going to hold it like this. I know this is not how you're supposed to hold the pencil when you write. You like to hold the pencil like this, but when you write, you only get the very tip of the pencil on the paper and not the side of the pencil. We're going to be using the side of the pencil, so I like to hold it like this. We're going to start by pressing hard. I know I said draw light till you get it right, but this is just practice, so it's okay to press hard. We want to get a dark color at first, so we're getting a dark shade here with the side of the pencil. And I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to get a little bit less pressure, a little bit less pressure, a little bit less pressure, and you want it to fade from black to white. Now there's hardly any pressure at all. I'm going to fade from black to white. Okay, so we have very dark up here, we have light down here, and we have a smooth gradation. I'm going to go in the opposite direction and practice again. So I'm going to start down here where the white is. I'm pressing really hard. I'm lightening up just a little bit. Lightening up just a little bit. And if you're doing this on the art tables are kind of bumpy. And so that can put some texture in this. It's not the worst thing in the world, so you might want to experiment with that a little bit. Okay? So by the end of this, you want to have 3 smooth gradations. 1, 2, 3. Practice it 3 times. That one is not as smooth as the other, so I'm going to go up and smooth this one out a little bit. Sometimes if you don't have a smooth gradation, you want to ask yourself, does it need to be lighter or darker? Where does it need to blend a little bit better? There we go, that's a little bit better. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, perfect. Okay, maybe not perfect. It's pretty good though. So you want to have 3 smooth gradations to pass boot camp. Okay, so I'm going to move on. This is shading. And I'm going to try a different kind of shading. This kind of shading is called crosshatch. So I'm going to start out by making a box right here. And I'm going to fill this box with lines. And I want to make the lines really close together. The closer together I make the lines, the darker the box is going to be. So this first box, I want it to be as black as I can get it. I want it black, black, black. So the more lines I put in here, the darker it's going to be. So I started by making X's. Now I'm going to make plus signs. So I'm making straight up and down lines. And making straight across lines. Cross-hatching is an important skill to have because with some of the art materials that we're using, you can't really make things lighter or darker by pressing hard or letting up. So you have to find other ways. So this is one way to make as dark as possible. All right, I'm going to make it the next box a little bit less dark. But I'm not going to make it quite as dark as the other one. That one looks almost there, but some going in this direction, not as many as at the top. All right, the next box, guess what? Fewer lines. All right, and the next box is going to have a little bit fewer lines. So the more white that is showing through, the lighter it's going to be, and the more lines you have, the darker it's going to be. So each box is going to be a little bit lighter or darker depending on which direction that you're working in. All right, next box, slightly less lines. I'm also not making the lines as thick, but I'm not shading, so I'm not blending anything. I'm just making this pattern to get lighter and darker. This one's going to have fewer lines. This one's going to have even fewer. Even fewer. Even fewer. If you look at money, this is how the light and dark is made on the etchings, the etching plates that they use to make money. All right, so we have from black to white, all right? And then you're gonna do 3 of these. I'm only gonna do 1 because it takes a lot of time and I've already demonstrated it. So if you need it demonstrated again, roll the tape back and look at it again. Roll the tape back, roll the video back and look at it again. Okay, for this one, This one is called crosshatch. The next one that we're going to do is called stipple, and stippling is when you make dots. So for stippling, I'm going to make a bunch of dots like this, okay? A lot of people like to do like this, and then the whole room sounds like a bunch of angry woodpeckers. If you do it this way, if you pound on your pencil, it's not really helpful because you hit it so hard and so fast that it just makes little dots, and it's hard to control where you want the dots to go. So it's really more efficient to just make little marks. So what I'm making are actually small little lines, or sometimes they're like little dots, right? And so I'm making these little dots all together, and the closer that I put them, the darker the square is going to get, the darker the piece is going to get. Some people use dots, but I've also seen people do this with letters. So you can do this with writing, just writing over the same thing over and over again until it turns black, and then creating different values that way. So the first one is just going to be a bunch of dots all together. The dark ones take a long time to make all these dots. The next one is going to be fewer dots. So even though I'm making all of these dots and it's taking a really long time, it doesn't work any faster to sit here and pound the pencil. And if anything, it's just going to take longer because it's going to tear up your lead. And when your lead breaks off, then you have to stop and sharpen, and it just takes a long time. Plus, it's really annoying to have a room full of people pounding the pencils. So that's not really going to help anything. So all I'm doing is making little marks over and over again. Keep on going. Don't forget that boot camping is also about cleanup. So for cleanup, you want to make sure that you put the pencils back in the bins that they came from. So back in your table bins. And also make sure that you use the little broom and dustpan at the end of your table to clean up any eraser dust. All right, so I'm down here at the end where I'm getting these lighter values. So I want to make sure that I am using fewer dots, lots of fewer dots. I'm spreading the dots out so that there's more white on the page. And there we go. All right, so this one is called Stipple. Whoops. Okay, so you're going to do 3 shading, 3 crosshatch, and 3 stipple. Then when you're finished practicing these techniques and you have these techniques down, you're going to create a work of art using all 3 techniques. So maybe you want to draw 3 things and have 1 shaded, 1 crosshatched, and 1 stippled. And maybe you just want to create 1 project that has all 3 different types of shading in it somewhere. Okay? But you're going to fill up the whole page. So your artwork to pass boot camp needs to fill up the page. It's not going to be just 1 little thing. Okay? Fill the page with the artwork. Show me that you understand 3 different versions of shading, and also that you understand. I'm going to talk to you when you turn this in, and you're going to explain to me how to use the pencils safely, how to clean up the pencils, and yeah, that's it. So you're going to demonstrate 3 ways, and you're going to show me that you understand safety and cleanup. All right? Once you've gotten these all done, then you have passed boot camp for drawing, and you can choose pencils as your art material for any project. You can also move on to the next boot camp, which is going to be color pencil. All right. Thanks, Toros.